Researchers at the University of Notre Dame found more than 3/4 of waterproof mascara with lipsticks they tested have high levels of PFAS chemicals.
You've walked past it, that shelf. You assumed it was leftovers nobody wanted. But guess what? You were wrong, and so was I. There's a reason certain shoppers walk out with $200 products for $20, and it has nothing to do with luck. You are about to discover 10 items. Once you know them, there's no going back, and that junk shelf becomes the most valuable aisle in the store. Ready? Let's get started. Number 10. First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream. First Aid Beauty built its entire brand around one promise: genuine barrier repair for sensitized, reactive, and compromised skin. Not the marketing version of barrier repair that every moisturizer claims on its front label, the clinical version. Formulated with colloidal oatmeal, which holds a National Eczema Association seal of acceptance. Backed by a dermatologist-tested, fragrance-free, paraben-free formulation that holds up to independent ingredient scrutiny without requiring the marketing language to do the heavy lifting. The Ultra Repair Cream is not doing cosmetic hydration. It is doing structural repair. The difference matters enormously for the person whose skin has been reacting to everything else on the shelf. The colloidal oatmeal at the formulation's core has been documented in peer-reviewed research as one of the most effective anti-inflammatory topical ingredients available in over-the-counter skincare. It is the same ingredient dermatologists reach for when prescription treatments are not the answer and the patient needs something safe, effective, and unlikely to cause a reaction. At TJ Maxx, First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream typically runs between $12 and $18 against original retail of $34 to $38. For a clinically formulated barrier repair moisturizer at that price, the value argument requires almost no additional justification. Check the expiry date printed on the base of the tube before purchasing. TJ Maxx beauty products are not expired as a category rule, but checking the date is the 30-second habit that separates a confident purchase from an unnecessary risk. The next product on this list is the one that caused the most excitement in the beauty community when people started finding it at TJ Maxx. Because the brand that makes it does not discount. It simply occasionally overproduces, and when that happens, the excess ends up here. Number 9. Peter Thomas Roth Vitamin C Brightening Serum. Peter Thomas Roth is a clinical skincare brand that has spent decades producing formulas that the professional skincare community reaches for because the active concentrations are high enough to produce measurable outcomes. Not cosmetic outcomes, clinical outcomes. The Vitamin C Brightening Serum specifically uses a stabilized vitamin C formulation with a concentration and delivery system that independent beauty chemists have placed above several competing vitamin C serums at higher price points. Vitamin C in skincare has a well-documented evidence base for brightening, antioxidant protection, and collagen synthesis support. It also has a notorious stability problem. L-ascorbic acid, the most bioavailable form, degrades rapidly with air and light exposure, losing potency before the consumer reaches the midpoint of the bottle. Peter Thomas Roth's formulation uses a stabilized delivery system that addresses that degradation problem at the chemistry level rather than relying on the consumer to use the product within an unrealistically short window after opening. At TJ Maxx, the Vitamin C Brightening Serum runs between $18 and $28 against original retail of $52 to $65. For a clinically concentrated, stabilized vitamin C formulation at that price, the gap between what you pay and what you receive is among the widest on this list. Verify the batch code on the packaging before purchasing. Every cosmetic product carries a batch code that can be checked against online databases to confirm the manufacturing date. Products within the past 12 to 18 months of manufacture are at their peak potency. Anything outside that window is worth leaving on the shelf regardless of the price. The next product is the one that most TJ Maxx shoppers pick up, examine, and then put back down because they do not recognize the brand. That is precisely the reason it is still there when you arrive. And the formulation inside it is why you should not make the same mistake. Number 8. Elemis Pro-Collagen Marine Cream. Elemis is a British luxury skincare brand that has been producing marine-based formulations since 1989. It is not a brand that appears at TJ Maxx through closeout or clearance. It appears at TJ Maxx through overproduction runs that the brand's retail distribution network could not fully absorb. The product is current production. The formula is intact. The price is dramatically lower than anywhere else the product is available. The Pro-Collagen Marine Cream is the brand's flagship product, built around a marine complex that includes chlorella and Padina pavonica, a brown algae with documented anti-inflammatory and hydration-supporting properties in the published cosmetic chemistry literature. The formula also contains rose hip, mimosa, and wheat germ in a rich emollient base that delivers both immediate surface hydration and longer-term barrier support through repeated use. The texture is the kind of texture that feels expensive, not because of marketing, because the emollient base uses a quality of plant-derived lipids that cheaper formulations substitute with petrolatum derivatives and silicone to achieve a similar skin feel at a lower production cost. At TJ Maxx, Elemis Pro-Collagen Marine Cream runs between $22 and $35 against original retail of $65 to $125 depending on the size. That is a savings of $40 to $90 on a formula that the international luxury skincare market charges luxury prices to access. Check the size and the formulation variant before purchasing. Elemis produces several products in the Pro-Collagen range. The Marine Cream, specifically, is the core formulation with the strongest independent clinical review record. Other variants in the range at TJ Maxx may not carry the same formulation depth. If you have been paying full price for luxury skincare when the same formulas are sitting at TJ Maxx for a fraction of the cost, subscribe now, because every week this channel publishes exactly this kind of knowledge. The products worth stopping for, the checks that take 30 seconds in the store, and the formula evidence that the beauty industry's marketing budget is specifically designed to obscure. The next product is the one that the skincare community discovered at TJ Maxx before most beauty journalists knew it was there. And the ingredient concentration inside it explains exactly why the community reacted the way it did. Number 7. Sunday Riley Good Genes All-in-One Lactic Acid Treatment Sunday Riley is a brand that the skincare community takes seriously, not because of the marketing, because of the formulations. The Good Genes All-in-One Lactic Acid Treatment specifically has accumulated one of the most consistent independent review records of any accessible luxury exfoliant available in the current skincare market. Lactic acid is an alpha hydroxy acid with a larger molecular size than glycolic acid. That larger molecular size means it penetrates the skin surface more gently than glycolic acid does, producing effective chemical exfoliation with a lower irritation profile, making it appropriate for a wider range of skin types, including those that cannot tolerate the more aggressive exfoliation that smaller molecule AHAs produce. Good Genes uses lactic acid at a concentration high enough to produce visible skin texture improvement, pore refinement, and brightening across consistent use. Alongside licorice root, lemongrass, and a supporting cast of plant-derived ingredients that address the post-exfoliation skin state, with anti-inflammatory and brightening support, rather than simply leaving the freshly exfoliated surface without further treatment. The formula is fragrance-free in the current iteration, a meaningful formulation decision for an exfoliating treatment that is applied to skin that has just had its surface barrier temporarily compromised by the acid activity. At TJ Maxx, Sunday Riley Good Genes runs between $22 and $38 against original retail of $85 to $122, depending on the size. That is an $85 product at a $22 price. For a lactic acid formulation with this concentration and this independent review record, that gap is one of the widest between price and formula value on this entire list. Verify the batch code. Lactic acid formulations have a functional shelf life. Current batch within 12 to 18 months of manufacture is the standard that ensures the acid concentration is at the potency level the formula was designed to deliver. The next product is something most shoppers at TJ Maxx walk past without a second glance, because the category does not seem like the kind of thing you find at a discounted price in an off-price retailer. It is exactly that kind of thing, and the brand behind it has been producing this specific formula for long enough that the evidence for its efficacy is not marketing copy. It is published research. Number 6. Murad Retinol Youth Renewal Serum. Murad was founded by a dermatologist. Dr. Howard Murad built the brand around the premise that skincare formulations should be developed with the same rigor applied to clinical medicine. Evidence-based, concentration-focused, designed to produce measurable outcomes rather than cosmetic sensations. The Retinol Youth Renewal Serum reflects that founding premise at the formulation level. It uses a triretinol complex that combines retinol, retinol propionate, and retinol propionate in a formula designed to deliver retinoid activity at multiple penetration depths simultaneously, rather than relying on a single retinol molecule to do all the work at whatever depth the skin's enzymatic conversion process delivers it. That multi-layer delivery approach is the formulation intelligence that justifies the product's original retail positioning against single retinol competitors at lower price points. The supporting formulation includes hyaluronic acid, glycerin, and a peptide complex that addresses the temporary barrier disruption that retinol activity produces during the skin's adjustment period, making the formula more appropriate for first-time retinol users than a bare retinol serum without barrier-supporting co-ingredients. At TJ Maxx, Murad Retinol Youth Renewal Serum runs between $18 and $28 against original retail of $74 to $82. For a clinically formulated, dermatologist-developed retinol complex at that price, the formula value is among the strongest on this list. Check the batch code. Retinol is sensitive to light and heat degradation. A product within 12 months of manufacture with intact packaging and no signs of temperature stress is a product performing at its formulation specification. If this list is making you rethink what you walk past at TJ Maxx every visit, hit the like button right now, because it helps this video reach the women who are still paying full price at Sephora for formulas that are sitting at TJ Maxx for a fraction of the cost right now. The next product is one that almost nobody at TJ Maxx picks up, because the brand name does not ring a bell. But the active ingredient inside it has one of the most robust independent evidence bases of any skincare ingredient currently available in the accessible market. Number 5. The Inkey List Niacinamide Serum. The Inkey List is a brand that the ingredient-literate skincare community discovered before the mainstream beauty press did, built on the same foundational argument that The Ordinary made famous. Active ingredients in skincare are not expensive. What is expensive is everything surrounding them: the packaging, the fragrance, the retail real estate, the influencer ecosystem. Remove those costs and a 10% niacinamide serum that a prestige brand charges $45 to deliver can be produced and sold for $7, without any reduction in the active concentration or the formula quality. The Inkey List Niacinamide Serum delivers niacinamide at 10%. The concentration that the peer-reviewed research on niacinamide's efficacy for sebum regulation, pore appearance reduction, barrier support, and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation improvement consistently identifies as the threshold for measurable clinical outcome, not the 2 or 3% that some brands use to justify putting niacinamide on the front label while providing a concentration too low to deliver the outcome the label implies. 10%. The same concentration that Paula's Choice charges $45 for. In a clean, fragrance-free, purposeful formulation that the ingredient community has examined and found nothing to argue against. At TJ Maxx, the Inkey List Niacinamide Serum runs between $6 and $10 against original retail of $14 to $17. The savings are not dramatic compared to other entries on this list. The formula value relative to any competitor at the same or higher price point is no batch code anxiety required here. The Inkey List uses a preservation system that maintains the niacinamide stability well within standard shelf life expectations. Check the expiry date on the packaging and purchase with confidence if the date is current. The next product is the one that generates the most genuine surprise in the TJ Maxx beauty aisle. Because the brand behind it is associated almost exclusively with a price point that has no business appearing on a TJ Maxx shelf. And yet, there it is, waiting for the shopper who knows enough to reach for it before anyone else does. Number 4. Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream Kiehl's has been a pharmacy in New York's East Village since 1851. That is not a marketing heritage claim. It is the founding context that explains why the brand's formulations have always centered on functional efficacy rather than aspirational packaging. The Ultra Facial Cream is the product that the brand's core customer has been repurchasing for decades. Not because of the marketing, because the formula delivers genuine 24-hour hydration without the occlusive heaviness that makes rich moisturizers incompatible with daily wear, under makeup, or in warm climates. The key functional ingredient is squalane, derived from olive oil, a lipid molecule structurally compatible with the skin's own sebum composition in a way that petrolatum and mineral oil-based moisturizers are not. Squalane absorbs into the skin's lipid matrix rather than sitting on top of it as an occlusive film, delivering hydration at the level where the skin's own moisture retention mechanisms can use it rather than at the surface where environmental factors remove it within hours of application. The formula also contains glacier glycoprotein, a functional antifreeze protein extracted from Antarctic fish that the brand's research team identified for its ability to protect the skin's moisture retention capacity under extreme environmental stress. That ingredient is not a marketing story. It is a documented functional component with a biological mechanism that the formula deploys at a concentration sufficient to contribute to the 24-hour hydration claim. At TJ Maxx, Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream runs between $14 and $22 against original retail of $38 to $52 depending on the size. For a pharmacy heritage formulation at that price, with a functional active ingredient roster that survives independent formula scrutiny without requiring the brand story to carry the efficacy claim, the value argument is among the most straightforward on this list. The next product is not a moisturizer or a serum. It is a treatment product in a category so notoriously overpriced relative to the active concentration it delivers that finding a version with this brand's formulation standard at TJ Maxx pricing feels almost like discovering an error in the pricing system. It is not an error. It is the off-price supply chain working exactly as designed. Number 3. Mario Badescu Facial Spray with aloe, herbs, and rosewater. Mario Badescu has been a New York institution in professional skincare since 1967. The brand built its reputation in the treatment rooms of a Manhattan salon that served the kind of clientele whose skincare outcomes were visible enough to generate organic word of mouth across decades before social media existed to accelerate it. The facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rosewater is the brand's most commercially distributed product, and the one most likely to appear at TJ Maxx through the overproduction and retail overstock channels that bring beauty products into the off-price market. The formula uses a rosewater base with aloe vera, herbs extract, and a humectant system that delivers genuine midday hydration refreshment, makeup setting functionality, and a sensory experience that the product's loyal repeat buyers describe as one of the most reliably effective aspects of their daily skincare routine. The rosewater is not a fragrance decision, dressed up as an active ingredient. Rosewater has a documented mild anti-inflammatory and pH balancing effect on the skin surface. The aloe vera provides additional anti-inflammatory and humectant support. The herbs extract contributes antioxidant activity that the spray delivers topically with each application. For a facial mist, that is a functional ingredient roster that most competing products at the same price point do not approach. The formula is free from alcohol, which matters significantly for a spray product applied directly to the face multiple times daily. Alcohol-based facial mists create an immediate sensation of refreshment through evaporative cooling and then dehydrate the skin surface as the alcohol completes its evaporation. This formula refreshes without that dehydration consequence. At TJ Maxx, Badescu Facial Spray runs between $5 and $9 against original retail of $12 to $14. At that price, for a formula with this functional ingredient roster and this independent review record, picking up multiple bottles is the correct decision. The next product on this list operates in a category that most skincare conversations treat as secondary, but the formula behind this specific product is doing something in that secondary category that the primary skincare market charges significantly more to approximate. Number 2. Origin's GinZing Brightening Eye Cream. Origins is a brand that built its identity around plant-based, naturally derived ingredient formulations at a time when the mainstream beauty industry was still treating natural sourcing as a niche rather than a formulation standard. The GinZing Brightening Eye Cream specifically has maintained a loyal repurchase base for over a decade. Not through continuous marketing support, through consistent performance in a product category, the eye area, where most accessible formulations significantly underdeliver relative to their price points. The formula uses coffee bean extract as its primary brightening and depuffing active. Caffeine in topical formulations has a documented vasoconstrictive effect on the superficial blood vessels, visible through the thin periorbital skin, reducing the appearance of dark circles caused by vascular prominence rather than pigmentation. That mechanism is genuinely functional rather than cosmetically performative. And caffeine at the concentration Origins uses in GinZing is doing meaningful biological work rather than appearing on the ingredient list at a concentration too low to contribute to the outcome the front label implies. The formula also contains magnolia extract, ginger root, Panax ginseng, and a peptide complex that addresses the collagen and elastin support deficit that the periorbital skin develops faster than any other facial skin zone due to the mechanical stress of blinking and facial expression. That supporting cast is not decorative. It is doing specific work in the specific skin zone the product is designed for. At TJ Maxx, Origin's GinZing Brightening Eye Cream runs between $10 and $18 against original retail of $38 to $45. For a functionally formulated, plant-derived, clinically considered eye cream at that price, the gap between what you pay and what the formula delivers is among the widest on this entire list. Check the batch code before purchasing. Eye area products have a functional shelf life that matters more than for body products, because the skin zone they are applied to is the most sensitive and most reactive on the face. Current batch within 12 months of manufacture is the purchase standard that ensures the formula is performing at specification. The final product on this list is the one that the most informed shoppers in the TJ Maxx beauty aisle reach for first, because the brand behind it has one of the strongest formula evidence bases in the accessible luxury skincare market. And it has been sitting at TJ Maxx for a fraction of its Sephora price, while most shoppers walk past it, looking for something they recognize from an advertisement. Number 1. Caudalie Vinoperfect Radiance Serum. Caudalie was founded in 1995 by a couple who met in a Bordeaux vineyard and built a skincare brand around viniferine, a molecule derived from the sap of grapevines that the brand's research identified as having a brightening potency that the published cosmetic chemistry literature has since documented as significantly stronger than kojic acid, a common brightening ingredient in controlled comparative studies. That founding ingredient is not a marketing story dressed as science. It is peer-reviewed cosmetic chemistry that the brand published rather than protecting as proprietary. And it is the core active in the Vinoperfect Radiance Serum. The serum uses viniferin at a concentration that the independent beauty chemistry community has examined and confirmed delivers measurable brightening and hyperpigmentation reduction across consistent use. Not the trace concentration that allows a brand to feature an exotic-sounding ingredient on the front label while providing a quantity too low to produce the biological activity the label implies. A working concentration. Doing working brightening activity at the melanin synthesis pathway rather than at the cosmetic perception level. The supporting formulation includes glycolic acid for surface exfoliation that enhances the viniferine's penetration and efficacy, hyaluronic acid for hydration support during the exfoliation process, and grapevine shoot extract for antioxidant protection that the formula delivers alongside the brightening activity rather than requiring a separate antioxidant step. The formula is fragrance-free. A meaningful decision for a brightening serum applied to skin that is undergoing active exfoliation and is therefore temporarily more reactive than usual to potential irritants. At TJ Maxx, Caudalie Vinoperfect Radiance Serum runs between $18 and $30 against original retail of $79 to $89. That is a $79 brightening serum with a published peer-reviewed ingredient at a working concentration available at TJ Maxx for $18 to $30. The gap between those two numbers is not a quality gap, it is a supply chain gap. The formula is identical. The concentration is unchanged. The manufacturing facility produced the same product. The channel it ended up in is the only variable that changed. Verify the batch code before purchasing. Viniferin and glycolic acid both have functional shelf lives that determine whether the active concentration is performing at specification or has degraded past the point of clinical efficacy. Current batch within 12 months of manufacture is the standard that ensures the investment is producing the outcome the formula was designed to deliver. 10 beauty products. One test applied to every single one. TJ Maxx does not sort for you. It puts clinically formulated, professionally developed, independently validated skincare products on the same shelf as products that deserve the clearance price they are sitting at. The shopper who knows the difference between viniferin at a working concentration and niacinamide at 2% walks out with $60 worth of products she paid $18 for. This channel follows the money, not the marketing. Click the next video on the left right now. We are breaking down the exact same comparison for TJ Maxx skincare tools and devices, and the products delivering genuine clinical value in that aisle are even harder to spot than anything on this list.